all the same shit. Nothing really changes.
There is 3 words though.
Yeah.
3 words that every generation needs, every person needs. And it's you can do it.
Yes.
I guess that's 4 words. You can do it. They don't hear it enough. They're told they can't do it, all of us from birth.
Right.
Don't. Yeah. So that's why it's an 80-20 rule. 80% of the people fail, 20% succeed, and only 20% of the 20% highly succeed. And it's because they haven't bought into, they believe they can't do it. They may say they can do it, but they can't. And that's what mentoring does, is to bring people up to that next level. And the boards of BC, and I think most of the progressive businesses are trying to get mentoring in place, but they have not found the secret sauce to make it happen. So if there was a place that would work, I suppose if you interviewed enough realtors talking about the importance of sharing information moving forward, it may be something that would be given to a BCRA or a provincial organization in any business, because it captures the essence of learning. When I came in, I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. It took me years to catch up to it and to learn it and to reinvent myself several times. Realtors reinvent themselves every day. They have to go look for a job every day. Most people don't figure that out. How can you get up every morning looking for a job? Okay, that's what realtors do. And there's other businesses like that when you're a commissioned salesperson, you do it. I consider myself an educator, right? I get up every day to find people that I can help get them to move forward. And I think the successful realtors, in my particular case, there are people leaving this industry every day. There's people that's left either through death or retirement in the last 7 years that had so much to give that's totally lost and totally gone, never documented. But I think it's like everything else. When everybody is living today, looking at the past sometimes becomes something they either don't want to do or don't have the time to do or don't see enough importance in doing. So the worst thing I can say to somebody, I've been doing this for 35 years, listen to me. No. But the best thing I can say is, given a situation, this is how I deal with it. Because the situations are different, but they're not that different. When a person buys a house and goes through the process, they're scared to death. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They're going to go, I'll give you a real good example. Someone's going to be buying a house, and the first question I ask is, your mom and dad going to help you out on the oh yeah, my mom and dad are going to help me out. Fantastic. Well, we should take them out and look at houses together. Oh no, they just want to look at the ones that I want. I said, well, I'll guarantee you this. They're looking after your best interest, so they're going to say, no matter how good or bad it is, they haven't seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Only you have. So if it's your best interest, for them to come around and see the good, bad, and ugly, build a relationship with me so they can feel the trust. And when they feel the trust, you're going to be able to find the home that will work. It works every single time because you understand the young person's situation. They just felt mom was going to pay for it. It's not a problem. But they have to realize that mom and dad are trying to protect their child, and that means that somebody else is stepping in. No decision they're going to make with somebody else is going to meet the level that they would really be comfortable with. So how do you teach that? How do you tell people, make sure you know who's involved with the transaction. Get them out so they're looking at houses. It's more complicated, but do it. Because eventually you'll build a relationship up with that parent that allows you to really educate without having somebody saying, are you sure? Are you sure? I've got a guy. Your financing's over here. Your inspector's over here. Everybody's all over the place. No real communication. I just had one where a father is putting money out for the daughter. They just did it with their son. And after going out with the family for the last 3 weeks, the father says, I trust Ray better than any other realtor I've ever met. And whatever he suggests, I think we should go along with. So there are people like, here's a question for you. What's the ROI? What's the return on investment for you? Because that's really the question. Who is prepared to put the money out to capture a generation, the baby boomers, Who's going to catch the end of them in all the different jobs? Finding people that are progressive, because there are a lot of progressive people that have been around. For example, I'm going to be leaving GR, I'm sure, in the next year or 2 or 3. At some point, I'm just trying to find people that I can leave behind, that when situations come up, I've given them enough information that they can not do what I would do, but use the principles I gave them to make their own mind up and do their own way. We don't tell people what to do. We don't tell them how to do it. We prepare them to make decisions based on human nature. Things haven't changed. We're hunter-gatherers. We're scared.
Yeah.
We're, biggest purchase you're ever going to make is your house. So aren't you going to reach out to everybody you know? I'll give you an example, perfect example, and it happens every time I go to a house. First time I take people out, I've gone through, buying a house 101 or strata 101, I call it. The first thing I say is, I hope you don't mind, but I hope we don't find the perfect house today. I go, why? I says, because if you find the perfect house today and we write it up and it's yours, at some point in the process, you're going to wonder, did we look enough? Did we pay too much? Because you had nothing whatsoever to compare it to. And therefore, I probably won't have a past client. So in all due respect, I want to look at as many houses as we can so that we're all on the same page. You're fully educated. So that when somebody comes up and said, oh, I think you paid too much, you can go, no, actually, I looked at 42 houses. I know exactly that I got the best buy at the time. And that confidence you gave that purchaser, you're long gone. They still have that confidence that if they do the work, do the research, they will get through. And they don't have to listen to somebody saying on Facebook or somewhere else saying, oh, you made a mistake, you made a mistake. Humans always think they made a mistake. Another clear example is when you say, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend buying a property. Oh, he or she doesn't have to come along because we like exactly the same thing. If I like it, he or she will love it. I go back, no, I'll tell you why. Maybe true, maybe not true. What I can tell you is, at some point, if you buy the house, they come in at the end, at some point in an argument somewhere, they're going to say the following: that wasn't my house, you chose that house. Okay, that's a little sliver that they can avoid because I won't look at it unless they're both looking at it. How do you teach that?
Well, you just did. And that's why I'm going to do videos, and why maybe I go to the board and I work with you and we start creating a model so guys like you can tell guys like that why. Because you don't care. You're retiring.
I do care. That's
no,
it.
I mean, I know you care. What I mean is you're not like too busy taking appointments.
I'm not got an axe to grind or a reason to put it out there. Like I would never charge to do something like this. Giving back to me is, as soon as I get reimbursed for something, then I'm being paid for it. Right. Then I think what I'm doing is being somehow changed. I think it's free knowledge that you give to people that they can take out of it what they need. So it's mentoring.
Right. And you asked me what my return, my ROI was on this idea.
I think it's a great emotional return on investment, but does the government pay for this? Do each organization pay for this? Do they think they could do it themselves? Most of the organizations are looking to cut back, and most of them think they can do it themselves. Right. They're not going to. It's going to get lost. It's being lost, and will continue to be lost.
Right.
Because they can't do what they think they can do.
Every day of my life is like this. My return on investment, to answer your question, is a little bit of that. I believe that, first of all, my client base, 55 plus, is probably city contracts, dealing with community centers and people like that have a budget. So they're not do-it-yourself guys. They're not entrepreneurs. They're middle management people, mandated to send a message to the people that they service and how we can make it a more interesting.
A bit of a bureaucratic group.
Bureaucratic / accountability, to the general public. Those are one area I know for sure that could possibly utilize a system like this. I also believe an institution like the real estate organization, of BC, like the one that you work with, could possibly give a little bit of money for me to run around, getting your interview wherever it may be, and at some version of you in Abbotsford and Vancouver, and we do like maybe 20, and we gather that knowledge, which everybody is, that type of thing. Anywhere where there's an organization or an institution that requires something like this and doesn't really know where to start. What is good about what I do versus the return on investment part versus, shall we say, somebody who's 25 years old, super sharp and everything else, is that I am of the age of the people that I'm talking to. And because of that, I'm in a place where I totally get my own client list and my own storytellers. I get you,
Yeah.
and I know when you say, oh God, they don't, I know exactly what you're thinking and why, because I think the same, which is why we're sitting here, yeah, we live in a fast-paced world and they don't need us anymore, but actually I think the only thing I'm going to say is I think they do need us.
I agree, they do need us.
Yeah, and I think they do need us, and I think it's up to us to be proactive and giving, which is a wonderful thing about being older. You're more interested about just helping out than you are about making $1 million, right? Like just the knowledge itself is very satisfying.
I've searched for years to find the right manager, and I did in Scott McDonald, who's at my office, my manager, because he believes in a lot of stuff what you're talking about, building family, building a career, having the old people with the young people. Not necessarily old as in age, but old in his inexperience. He respects that. It's funny, there's a lot of times that the old people really don't do things right. They do it the way they used to, and we can't do the way things we used to. You can say things in the past you can't say now. You have to understand the culture of today. The ones that are successful have been able to do that, and Scott's one of the people that's kept those type of people in the business in his company. So I'm really glad I am where I am with that. It's not that it's Remax office, it's the fact that the manager. The first thing I always say to new realtors is, it's not the brand, it's the management that's at the brand. Will they get back to you quickly? Are they there to help you? You can get a cheap deal out there anytime. I've always said to every broker I've ever worked for, you're undercharging me. I'm a rarity, but I also know that without them, it's like an army. Without the cooks, you can't have an army. And who says, well, I'm going to war. Do I need a cook? Yeah. One of the most important things you need is a cook. You don't realize it until you're in the middle of a war. So the battle is to have good people around you and respect the people around you. And so the idea of going to older people to get their ideas and concepts, as long as they're general and not specific, I think makes a lot of sense.
And they can be specific with certain things. For example, you probably know more about open houses than most realtors because you've been doing it for a long time. And your perspective on that might be quite valuable. And the way in which an open house is run now, an open house is run then, is still about people just going in, walking around and leaving again. And what does that mean for a realtor?
What do you think an open house is about?
Well, I think when you see an open house, it's an opportunity like me and my wife, which we just did. We were out in Fort Langley going to see the fort with our dog.
Yeah.
And we said, oh, look, an open house. Let's walk through. We weren't going to buy anything. We just wanted to see the inside of somebody else's house to see what they had done because we're renovating in Point Roberts. That's actually a real life situation.
Well, I'm going to tell you that open house, if you're a seller, they think it's to sell the house. But they know because they've been told that the person in the house generally can't sell it. So why is there open houses? The open houses today are to find buyers.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It's the only way to find buyers. So let's call a spade a spade. They're in there to find buyers. Well, in my career now, I do open houses, but they're to please my client, not to sell the house. It's to please the realtors that come in to give them more information, absolutely. But it's not to get that buyer.
Exactly.
So therefore, what would I say to a young person coming in? Use an open house to educate the people that are coming in there. They may not be buying, they may be just looking. But if you educate them and don't push them to buy something, but push them to give them information and education, they'll remember you when they go to sell their house. If you're in their market, they're going to go, that was the guy I had a great conversation with. But if you go in there just to get buyer, I think you're making a mistake.
Actually, you are hitting on a nerve regarding business and what I do as well and what we do. In the end, everything I'm listening about you is pay it forward. You do an honest job. You try to help your house in open house. Maybe somebody does buy it, right? But from your experience that it kind of doesn't usually go that way, that somebody wants a house, they want a house. You're going to do it the other way. Having said that, why not? You never know. At the same time, to pay it forward, you end up meeting somebody else and you just keep helping people. The point is the integrity is there, right? The integrity is there. The real is so genuine.
You're not there to sell anything. You're there to educate and not be tied to an outcome of a transaction. That was the biggest lessons you can teach somebody, is not be tied to the outcome of a transaction, period. Stop. And be there to educate. Because when they go, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, I never thought about that. You're demonstrating your value, not by saying, I'm the best. I've been doing this for 35 years. I belong to a big company. I've sold 55 houses this year. Whatever they're saying. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. That's the keys.
You know, you're so right. When I do what I do, I've sold 400 videos a year, roughly, right? Give or take. And it gives and it takes. Which I got a pretty good business. I've been doing it a long time. Honestly, I'm a video guy like you, but I'm me, right? You're a real estate guy, I'm a video guy. The one thing I've learned in my experience is that you could show people all the samples in the world of stuff you've done, but they really, actually, only want to know their own story and how it fits into their life. It's a very personalized experience. They learn from you. They look at what you've done, but really, what they want to see is their life, their voice, their people doing something, because that's where they live.
They also want to validate themselves.
Yeah, of course they do.
They want to validate themselves. And again, I'm not there to validate myself, but it certainly is nice to see people when I get second and third generation people calling. I've noticed as I've got older that where I would hold on to 98% of my people, I'm down to 95% or 94% of my people. The 3 or 4% are, well, he's an old guy, he can't relate. I never got the acceptance for the information. I never got an opportunity to pass the information on. But generally, the parents go, no, you have to go out with Ray. You have to see what he has to offer. At the end, they go, wow. And usually they pass your name on to somebody else.
And the truth is, the ones that don't, that's okay. Maybe they're found wisdom that, whatever. It ain't personal.
Yeah, I don't lose clients very often because I concentrate on just educating and providing service to the people I'm with. I'm not tied to the outcome. So someone will call me and says, should I sell my house, this? And I'm going, no, I wouldn't sell right now if I was you. Oh, well, why? Because I think your market's going to come back. If you can hold off, I would hold off. What are you going to do with the money when you sell? If you're going to be buying in the same market, then you might as well, you can do that. It can make sense. You're going to sell it for less now than you can in the future. If you're leaving the province and going to a cheaper place, why would you sell now when you're 2 years away from retirement? So you have to rent for 2 years? And they go, oh, I never thought of it. Never thought of it that way. So I would say if I have 10 calls, 4 or 5 of them right now this is not the right time.
Yeah.
Now, how many realtors you know that in a tough market are going to say this is not the right time?
Well, the good ones.
The good ones. The ones that want to mentor, educate, they see it as a long-term profession, and their responsibility to the individuals is more important because they're not tied to an outcome. They're tied to support and education. Yeah, those are the ones I spend time with. Those are the realtors I spend time with. And in my Toastmasters, those are people I like to be with. It's funny, Toastmasters is a weird one because they go there because they want to learn how to speak. I point out to them, you learn how to speak when you're 3 or 4 years old. What you want is you want to be able to communicate your thoughts in a better way. You want to be a better communicator. It's not about talking, it's about communicating what you feel. And that usually helps. And then you get them to talk about themselves, you get them to and you give them the support. And over time, they can become incredible communicators. I never said speakers, I said communicators. That's, you find that, I think that might be what's missing right now. We used to have all the service companies. We had what was the Elks, we had I don't know how many different service organizations. The Lions Club, all the stuff. They were there to mentor the next generation. They're all gone.